आपकी पैदाइश कभी?
मैं 1980।
1980, हाँ
जी।
और अभी 96, 16 साल की आपकी उम्र है
जी इंशाल्लाह 17 हो जाऊंगा मार्च।
अच्छा जी। इतनी यंग एज में क्रिकेट आपने अब हाईएस्ट लेवल पे आप खेल रहे हैं
जी।
कहाँ से शुरू की थी?
ये तो शुरू तो मैंने कराची में की थी क्रिकेट, लेकिन हमारे खानदान में किसी को क्रिकेट के बारे में इतना मालूम नहीं था। सब तो ज्यादातर कारोबारी लोग हैं। तो हमारे चचा जो आजकल मेजर हैं, उन्होंने क्रिकेट का नाम हमारे खानदान में लाया। फिर मेरे बड़े भाई को शौक था, वो क्रिकेट खेलते थे, तारिक, वो क्रिकेट खेलते थे। फिर उन्होंने मुझे इस तरह आहिस्ता क्रिकेट की तरफ तवज्जो दी।
तुमने जब क्रिकेट शुरू की तो लगता था कि इसमें कुछ हो कर लोगे?
हाँ जी, मुझे देखा था हारून रशीद साहब हैं, उनके भाई हैं महमूद रशीद, उन्होंने मुझे देखा था
अच्छा
कि इसके अंदर है टैलेंट। तो मेरे बड़े भाई से उन्होंने कहा कि क्रिकेट खिलाओ इसको।
So Mochi's back, and you just saw that clip where Afridi says that he was born in 1980, 1st March, and his debut was in 1996, 16. So I'll just do a few episodes on the introduction. So we did the foreword from Wazim Akram. So I'll just where in the introduction there's an interesting thing that he mentions, the author. He says Afridi's story must be told. His tale is that begins with the cricket world's most famous batting debut when at age 19, not 16 as has been believed till now. He scored a 37-ball century. So he was 19. So all the cricket stats have to be changed now. So I'll skip the rest of the introduction. There's nothing much. And then there's this song, a poem or whatever you want to call it. If you want to flash, flash hard. If you want to touch the stars. If you want to flash, flash hard. Everybody say boom, boom, Afridi. It's by the Duckworth-Lewis method. I don't know. Some strange poem. I've never heard of this. Maybe it has to be translated in Urdu. So I'll just hop on to chapter 2 where he tells us about the beginning. So he says it's early 1980s and Pakistan was crazy about 3 sports, cricket, hockey and squash. And cricket was the most popular of them and more accessible as it could be played on the streets. Absolutely right. So he goes on, like any other middle class kid in Pakistan, I started playing in the neighborhood, on the streets, the area I lived in, the rough-shod Federal P area of Karachi, Pakistan's former capital and now its most troubled mega city with over 20 million people. Wasn't as violent in the 1980s. So in Karachi, he starts playing. There's another thing he mentions, like millions of others in my generation, my star was Imran Khan, Imu. So his star. And his stance on Imran has changed recently, but this is what's mentioned in his book. And he mentions that I started playing cricket because of him. Like him, I fancied myself as a fast bowler, though unlike many, I never tried to mimic his action. However, when I realized that my bowling action was problematic, I chucked the ball. Vatta. When I bowled pace, I quit fast bowling. I'll turn the page. On the next page, he mentions, like many middle-class South Asian parents, my father, Sahibzada Fazl Rahman Afridi, God bless his soul, was not very happy about my interest in cricket, like every middle class. My family had traditionally always been in business or the armed forces. So the ups and downs and unpredictability of cricket didn't fit into my father's world of trying to make a stable, honest living, as is the Pashtun way. So Pathan Khana Hoja thought that this is not the right path that his son is choosing. So he goes on, my father had his reasons to be skeptical about career in cricket. I was born in Tira Medan, a valley in the mountains of Khyber, northern Pakistan. It is a remote area in the northwest region of Pakistan and home to my fellow Afridi tribesmen. Traditionally, the Afridis, who are divided into several sub-tribes, have enjoyed the reputation of fighting everyone, be it the Mughals or the British. We have defended the famous Khyber Pass for hundreds of years and have a can-do anything reputation when it comes to protecting our land. The true fighters. Remember my warrior saying? Then he goes on, tells us about migrating from Tira to Kohat, and then he says migrating was easy. It's in our blood. All Pashtuns take pride in being warring tribesmen. But we also have a very strong work ethic and always go where work requires us to. It's true, we Pashtuns love to work. We are up for any sort of labor. In Pakistan, Pashtuns dominate the construction and transportation industries and also make up a good chunk of the army. That's true. 40. Our hardiness is an asset that has made us the finest bricklayers and the toughest soldiers. That's why it is said that when a Pashtun isn't working, he's fighting Khana Kharaba Khocha Dagaroda Bhai. ये तो फिर लड़ने लग जाते हैं. Then he goes on, when they moved to Karachi, his father started off a water tanker business. And then from that, they moved to, a couple of years later, he says, he got into car sales and started dealing in used and new cars. He set up what they call in Karachi a showroom, and in Peshawar a bargain, sahib. So, despite their hardiness, trade comes easily to Pashtun, especially Afridis. And then he goes on and he tells how he got into cricket. My paternal uncle, Colonel Akram Afridi, probably his mamu, was a decorated infantry officer of the 19th Baloch Regiment. As my father never had the time for sports, Kaka Akram must be credited for introducing sports to our family. So his mamu introduced. He had seen the world outside Tera and Kohat, having been posted all over Pakistan. In the army, he had played some cricket and volleyball, the latter being a typically army sport. Soldiers would set up a net anywhere and play. So that's why he has an affection for the army, Afridi, if you see his recent interviews in comments. Because his mamu was a decorated soldier. When he would come back on a vacation to our village, he played cricket with my other uncles and cricket was like a gift he brought with him every time he visited. So he introduced him. Then he mentions something about his father not being happy. Now this is the part. In Federal B area, in Karachi, my local club was Shahid Sports. At the time, Shahid was one of the Karachi's finest. It housed some of the best first-class cricketers in the city. That's at par with Lahore in producing the finest cricketing talent for Pakistan. Unlike today, back in the day, even the stars of first class and club cricket commanded respect, and those guys got appreciation too. Then he goes on, I'm not exaggerating when I say that at the time the value of a first-class cricketer was more than that of an international Pakistan player. In the neighborhoods and clubs, people knew first-class players by name. They had street cred and were local legends. People would line up to see them play in the neighborhoods, even for a casual game. Yeah, that's true probably. They were the gods of the homegrown cricket circuit. At Shadab, Harun Rashid and his brother Muhtashim Rashid, who eventually became the national women's team's coach, would watch me in action. So he credits his find to Harun Rashid and the Shadab Spouts. Then he goes on about Karachi. They say there are two types of climate in Karachi, hot and very hot. For me, though, it was all the same. I remember it always being hot, perhaps because I was a fast bowler in those days. I remember really feeling the heat. During the peak of summer, and especially during Ramadan, the matches would be moved to the night shift. Streets would become cricketing bazaars. Electricians would be hired to set up and take off the naked tea bulbs, set up via illegal kunda connections to light up roads, alleys, even empty plots and garbage dumps. They say that in Karachi's blazing summers, only cricketers and thugs stay up at night. So he moves on. Despite my chucking, or vatta means throwing a stone, as they call it, I continued with pace bowling. No coach or senior ever bothered fixing my bowling action. So he bowled vatta bowling. Pakistan's cricket clubs aren't exactly known for their coaching acumen. The talent of the players possibly makes up for it. I remember what brought an end to my pace bowling stint. So now he mentions how he shifted from pace bowling to spin. One day in the nets, a ball I bowled hit a batsman younger to me in the chest. He was almost knocked out and was barely breathing. That's when Muhtashim Rashid, who was watching us, came to me and told me to stop watta pace and try some proper spin. Otherwise, the kid would get hurt again. I didn't take his suggestion personally and just followed his advice. I was young, around 12 or 13 years old. So I needed the directive. I apologized to the kid and chose a shorter run-up. I don't know why, but in my next delivery, I ran into bowl in the style and run-up of Abdul Qadir, the best leggy the world has ever produced. One of the best. A popular Pakistan leg spinner from the era whom I used to watch on TV. So it's a very interesting anecdote. He's bowling vatta and he probably chucks and bowls a full toss, hits a boy, he goes down, and when he goes back to the top of his bowling mark with a shot and run up, he comes like Abdul Qadir. So it naturally, that beautiful flowing, the singing bowling action of Abdul Qadir, every kid used to imitate that, I remember. Qadir would famously dance up to the crease, left and right, up and down, a waltz of confusion and strategy. As if on cue, I imitated him and threw one in. It was pretty good ball, quick and fast turner. The kid, already scared, couldn't do much with it. That's when Muhtashim Rashid turned around and said, "From today, you are only going to bowl spin. This fast come spin things you're doing is your style now, but fix your stupid dance and remember, mix it up. So that's when he started bowling spin. Thanks for watching. I'll continue in the next one.
Of illustrations from the book. He returns to Karachi after his debut. He's greeted at Karachi airport, and then he goes back to his village in Kohat, sitting on the mountain top. Thanks for watching.